When doing augmented coding using process files, that is a file that outlines step 1, do this, step 2, do that, and the process, you're finding bumps in the process, well, here's the trick. Reset and change the process and try it again. That way, you'll actually improve your process, which is a big part of the goal of all this augmented stuff, right? Is to reduce pain. We don't want it to increase pain. I don't want it to run off like a runaway train and just start doing a bunch of stuff. Sometimes I need to put the brakes on. And in this live coding session, you'll see me run into a situation where I change the process a few times, but the main one is in test-driven development, where on a failing test, I need to inspect the failing test to see, does it fail in the way that I want it to fail? Otherwise, it's not good TDD. So check it out. This is a live coding session, a recording of a live coding session. Let's try again from the top. Thank you for the sound check. Oh, I had it on, but then I unplugged and replugged. So thank you. Thanks, folks. Welcome back to the Quality Coding live stream after an unexpected week off. This is what happens with grandchildren around. Family always get priority, and I will make, no, not really an apology for that. I mean, I'm sorry to miss the stream, but those are my priorities, so no regrets. But, I want to keep good stuff coming. This is the only chance I have to do recreational coding right now, so I'm glad to be here with my traditional Christmas hat, just like Jesus wore. Yep. Grant, any updates to the schedule over the December break? Yeah. There will be, I was just thinking about that, like how much longer, because I will definitely be taking time off. I'll update that, probably after I get off of here. So thank you. Yeah, that it's not true. I will be taking a break, planned. So, I mean, I wasn't even going to put this hat on until next week. Then I thought, what are the odds that next week I'll be pulled away again? So I thought, I'm going to go get the hat. But there will be at least a couple of weeks off there. So I'll update that, Grant. Also, for folks who are not on the Swift Dev Chat, which is one of the best Discords out there, and you can always check the schedule in on Twitch to see, is he going to be live this week? And that will tell you at least what I think is going to happen. If I'm planning to be away, I'll definitely update that. So that is it. I'm your host, John Reed. For folks who are watching after the fact on a recording of some kind, welcome. Yep. Thank you, Grant. I wrote that. I invite you to follow me in the socials and join in whatever I'm chatting about. Let's see here. What did we do? It's getting harder and harder to, because of the breaks, to keep a flow going, so I apologize for that. But what we did last time was introduced process files. These are an invention of Lotte Kessler, Llewellyn Falco, to break TDD into different steps. So it's not just do TDD. It's not like here are Kent's descriptions. Follow TDD, and it sort of describes what that means. But instead, hopefully we'll get a chance to play with this today. It's like, well, let's make some tests. Let's implement production code. Let's refactor. And each one with a process. The cool thing about it that you'll see is that instead of saying follow these steps, where is it? Yeah, here. Instead of me saying follow this list, it's like it follows a list already because I know how I work and it prompts me. And I really like that flipping aspect. So yeah, instead of just saying do TDD, we break it into multiple phases, each with its own process file. These do take refinement. Even the ones, like, I didn't start from scratch. I took the ones that Llewellyn shared, and yeah, and wow. I haven't seen a Soviet Russia joke in a while. That's a good one. It takes refinement. Somebody else's process is not your own. I've been tweaking the stuff that I got from Llewellyn to fit my needs better. And the trick to that is to say, oh, shoot, this isn't working. Well, what do I need to update in the process? Update it and try again. It's iteration. That's all it is. And yeah, the files are now in the repo, which you can check out. It's been so long since I do commands here. I don't remember how I bring up my bot commands. Oh, well. Oh, come back. So what are we working on? Oh, and an interesting part of the TDD process that Llewellyn shared is that it follows canonical TDD in the sense of first list the tests, which Kant says if you're not doing that, you're doing some kind of TDD, but it's not canonical. And fair enough. I haven't really been doing that. I'm, kind of keep my list in my head. But why? Get stuff out of your head, like in GTD, getting things done style. The quick overview of what we are doing, we don't need to go through all this. I can just show you, is that in the game of Mastermind, we are now displaying multiple rounds. We're not advancing through the rounds yet. We're just playing round 1. And that's as far as we go. But we want to flip it. We want to show round 1 at the bottom. And to flip even the choice of colors, I just threw up my hands and said, oh well. But I think there's a way we can do this with View Inspector. I don't think that the genies are going to be clever enough to know all the ins and outs of View Inspector to come up with these insights. So we work with it, right? It's augmented coding. It's not yielding control to a bot. It is using it, hopefully, to be creative. Is it faster? It's not 10x, I'll tell you that. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower than coding, by myself, by hand. So let's see what we can do. Let's just start. Actually, let me stop get Xcode. Stop this from running. And we're probably not going to be in Xcode very much. With the process files, what I'm going to do is the agent file, the agent rules are following. It kind of depends, I've found, on if I can do, certainly if Xcode with its severely limited support for refactoring, if it can do something, well, that's deterministic. Do it there, right? And there are other things where I'm like, this might be faster if I do it. But you got to try back and forth. And I'm also trying to give grace, not to the AI, but to myself in learning, that anytime you do something new, it's going to, there's a learning process. And so it's going to take a little longer. So I'm trying to sort that out. When is it? Is it localized to a single file? That may be. You know, does it need to blast across multiple files? Well, yeah, these are good questions. So the agent file, the agent rule follows a convention that all these genies have apparently started doing, and that is, if it can find something called agent, it's like, okay, I'm always going to read that. So I can just drag over and say, what are we doing? We're going to, oh, thank you. I want to check that out. Thank you. Because I do want to try an MCP sometime. The first step is to say, what process are we going to follow? And what I want to do is reverse the order of the rounds, showing round 1 at the bottom. This is TDD, so we want to start with a test. So we say follow this one, the creating tests. Now, creating tests is a little different, the creating test process. It's not exactly getting to red. It's getting to what is the test list. But we'll say, I'll just drag it in and say, follow this. And the agent, you recall, starts with a starter character. And this one should, so there's their 4-leaf clover and there's red. Are we starting new work or resuming work in progress? This is resuming. And let me, resuming. Did it not do that? Come on. Uh-oh. My thing is not working. Let me try again. Resuming. Oh, I don't have the right microphone set up. Hang on. Yeah. Trying to find something on Zoom. I am on Scarlett. Let's try again. Dictation is super handy for dealing with an agent. I haven't used this at work yet because that is in the office. I'm only going into work right now twice, sometimes once a week. As we start going more, I may start using this more. Resuming. There we go. Okay. which steps should we continue from? This is the thing where it's asking me, are we starting new work or resuming work in progress? Oh, I see. This is, Okay, let me try this again. Oops. Let's start a new chat. And let's see what happens if if I say this is new. Because I'm not sure what the difference is. Follow this. Once again, it's going to ask me new. Okay, so it's a question of, have we stopped in the middle of this process? I may reword things here, but this is me getting to know Llewellyn's setup a little bit. New feature of fixing a bug. Feature. Provide an example scenario. So now you see it's quizzing me. It's a bug? It's showing the rows in the incorrect order? I wouldn't say it's a bug though. Because that doesn't prevent anything. Nothing bad happens. It's just not what we want. Hey, MJB. Welcome. Got a few folks. Welcome. In the game screen, we are currently showing rounds 1 through 10 with round 1 on top. I want to reverse this with round 1 on the bottom. Let's see what it says. And it's probably going to suggest way too many tests. But let's see. Based on the code, the rounds are currently displayed using for each. Shows round 1 at the top. Displays rounds in reverse order. Yes. Shows correct number of rounds. I don't care. Maintains round functionality. Don't care. Handles edge cases. Don't care. Just 1. I meant that. Now, chances are this is not what we want. Oh, looks like I already had a test in place. I forgot about that. And this is not the way it's going to work, I don't think. But let's accept it so we can see it a little better. I'm positive that this is not the test we want. Let's see. Let's makes a game, makes the game screen, inspects it. Yeah, maybe. For each, well, maybe it is. Let's have a look. So it is doing, it's trying to find this VStack. And this is sort of what I wanted, is that inside the VStack, we should have multiple for eaches. I mean, how this appears. Let's see how this looks in View Inspector. Actually, I can just go here. Duh. View Inspector. The tests of View Inspector are some of the best documentation out there. For each. So it doesn't look correct, but we'll get there. It's not actually a bad attempt, what it had. Because it looks like we need to get the for each and then say address a particular thing by, you know, the 0th text, the 1th text, the tooth text, tooth. I'm gone from Santa to the Tooth Fairy. The other thing is, how is it going to find how's it going to find the how's it going to find these? It really needs to find it in the VStack. And so I think the first step we need is thinking one of the lessons that doing TDD and SwiftUI has taught me is before you go off and write a whole test, make sure you can access the element you want. Like split your testing, your TDD into 2 phases. Step 1, can you find the thing? And then query it. But finding the thing itself can be a little tricky, a little that's why I've learned to split it out. And so I probably want an accessibility identifier on this VStack. So I can say, regardless of how these things are ordered, inside of here, look at the for eaches. And inside of the for eaches, then we'll find something. So how to do this in a way that not trains the AI, but we can have let's see, didn't the test get the first item in the stack using VStack 0? Could that not be the for each? That's not how I read the example. Here, let's come back here. That's not how I read this example, but I may be too light. Yeah, okay. Thanks for checking, though. So I think, let's just tell it what I want. It's asking me, would you like me to proceed with committing this test? No, not yet. Let's see. I do want to try to capture this in some way. Following the guidance that if something goes wrong with the process, we should amend the process. So let's think about this. First thing I'm going to do is reset. Bump, wipe out anything, back to 0. And this isn't... This is like test writing guidance. I'm not sure where to put this. I guess we'll start with it in here first. And maybe we can get some help on this. Let's amend this process. If our test is focused on SwiftUI, we should do that test in 2 phases. Phase 1 is finding the element or subview that we want, and just getting that to pass is enough work. Once we've found that element, then we can write the rest of the test to query it. Can you summarize that into something short that will make sense in this process file? Not bad. Not bad. Let's try that. Do I have a thing in here about committing yet? Yes. Draft a commit message. Let's see if it follows this. Let's commit this. Check with me before you do. Ah, there we go. It's saying it's documentation. I'm going to say it's an environment change. Let's use E instead, since it's environment input to you. There we go. Add SwiftUI testing phases. And the lazy trick of when it asks a yes or no question that I learned from Llewellyn's video, you can just say that. All right. I'd forgotten actually that I had a commit script. So it's done the commit and push. Great. There it is. It is up in Origin. So now let's try it again. On a fresh chat, this is something else I learned from watching Llewellyn's video, is keep these chats rolling. Like, don't get long-winded. Now, having done that, let's try it again. So So last time, I guess, we did this, which is not a bad approach. Yo ho ho instead of what? What did I say? We kind of instead of oh, sheesh. Hey, this is only coffee here. I don't know what you're drinking yet. You're welcome to, of course, drink whatever you want. Shoot. So this doesn't belong necessarily. This is the test we already wrote following this process. So we kind of want to advance to the next process. Yeah, so so I feel like this rule needs to maybe move. Let me just pick it up and move it by hand. It went through and did all this for us. So let's try that. Commit. Whoa. Oh, there. It did ask me. I'm glad it asked me. That gives me a little more confidence. At work, I've had times where I'll be like, commit, and it just starts doing git add. I'm like, no. Okay. In that case, let's now create a new one and say follow. Where'd our test go? Here we go. Follow implement. As you can see, this isn't a failing test. The failing test part sort of works into this next phase of the process, in part because I want to get this list right and commit it so that I don't lose it, because my habit is to say, I'm going down a rabbit hole with the AI's just sort of gotten lost, reset, oh shoot, I just lost everything. So I want to commit artifacts. If not in here, then in a separate like markdown. That would be another way to do it, would be let's make a markdown of things. Let's see what it does. Follow. And you can see it is now gone. It's into the green phase, technically still red. I can see we're working with, is this the correct test file? Yes, you see the test we're working on. That's not going to do much. Okay, what's it doing? This is not what I want. But we can clean it up. I should have just rejected all that. Oops. I guess I was had the dictation on. Reject. Stop, stop, stop. We are doing phase 1 of a SwiftUI test. So first find the VStack and stop. Don't do anything else yet. Let's get this to fail. Where'd it go? Phase 1. Build failed. Perfect. Hang on. Wait. Oh, it's gone ahead. It's making changes. Accessibility identifier rounds container. All right. That is what we wanted. And phase 1 seems to be passing. Commit. Sure. Good enough. And it will commit and push. Ta-da! Now, what's it doing? Phase 2. Nope, that is not what we want. Hold on. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Slow down. I wonder if we can give it the for each test. Can it find that? Let's dig it up. Show in Finder. And I have it out here so that I can drag it into sort of Windsurf, so Windsurf can pick it up. These are the View Inspector unit tests for each. Read them. And let's find each for each, looking inside to find the round number. Aha. This is interesting. What's it gonna do? That's not quite right. For each, is there an H stack? Okay, hold on. I say this a lot to when I'm coding, is doing augmented coding. People love it because it makes them go fast. I'm not sure that speed, I mean, yes, speed is the goal of this stuff. But there's a limit. The limit is understanding. What we want to solve with augmented coding is we want to say code a thing, and then we want to be able to look at it and go, do I understand it? So let's find round view. Maybe it can't find the round number yet. There's the code guess view. Does it have the round number? Accessibility identifier round number. Okay. Let's... Oh, I somehow wound up in Xcode. Whoa! No, 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 no. Stop. Wrong W. Okay, so we do want the round number. We don't need to get the... how to do this? What is it doing? What is it doing? Stop, stop, stop. Fast in the wrong direction is bad. I think, well, according to what I'm reading, we are already, the industry is already starting to reel under the technical debt that people are generating. AI is not generating technical debt. People are generating it. Hang on, don't reverse it yet. Inside the rounds container, we have a for each. This is the climax of the film. That's all I remember about it. You know, what I haven't seen is I haven't seen this pass or fail. Just run the test. I feel like I need to insert some, yeah, it's Soylent Green, some breaks into the process and say, when a test fails, I want to examine it. I want to see, did it fail in the way that I want it to fail? So let's, you know what, let's note some of this. I feel like we're finding some good stuff, and I don't want to lose it. Ooh. Is often fast in the wrong direction. How to say it? That's true, but I think that's what I want to say, that we need to have brakes. We need to put the brakes on. As you've talked about before, a test is a hypothesis. If you can't disconfirm a hypothesis, it is meaningless. I tell my coworkers, but they don't believe me yet, or they haven't experienced it yet, that a test, because they're doing test after, and mostly now doing generated tests after. Like, did you see it fail? How do you, if you didn't see it fail, is it any good? I'll come back to these notes. These are just to keep my mind from losing them. But I also want to check the process in here. run the test, identify the first failing test. It is true. Making a passing test. Want to see an atrocity I have seen at work? There it is. I have seen that in professional code. Yep. This needs refinement. But I don't want to stop it. Oh man, Grant, you're in a mood today. It's good to have you. I don't want to lose everything. And yet, if I don't come back and do this, we already committed that might be what you get if you ask the LLM to make the test pass. And then there are the horrible reports of people saying that they'll get an LLM to do something and it's lying. It's like, because it's so desperate to please, it's like lying to you, the boss. We did commit part of it, I'm pretty sure. Yes, we did. So let's reset again. I hate to do this, but if you don't do this, the process won't improve. Let's amend the process. Uncomment one test and implement it. Run the tests. The wording here is, I think, throwing us off. As soon as there is a failing test, show me the results and ask me to inspect them to make sure that the test is failing in the way we want. Can you say something like that, but make it simpler? This, I must say, this dictation program, Super Whisper, does a nice job. And it is, one nice thing about it is, by default, it's like sending stuff up to the cloud, and you can say, no, don't. You have to change it. It's rude that you have to change it. And just process locally. You aren't just building Mastermind. You are constantly learning what works and what doesn't. That learning is valuable. Thank you, John. That's the challenge, I think. Even at work. Is how do we show test results and ask to inspect the failure? Let's try that. Ask the user. This should be ask me if I would like to commit. Let's try it. Commit this. It didn't ask me. Anti-gravity. No, I haven't. What do you think of it? Have you? Another IDE, Google-based. It's kind of funny because this evolution in tooling has been so rapid that this is a nice call out. Because when these tools first came out, they weren't really talking about multiple agents at all. As it is, I'm not working with multiple agents yet. I would like to. I really want to try Claude. But this would be more, yeah, it's, I'm pretty sure it's another VS Code wrapped thing. Sure looks that way. But that's interesting. Whoops. So it went ahead and did the commit. Oh, well. You didn't ask me to approve. I'll make sure to ask for your approval on future commits. No, you won't. You're going to forget everything that we've talked about. So even with something in the agent rule, it will lose its mind. All right, let's see if we can't do a little bit of this. I see my time is coming to a close. My window of happy coding, recreational coding. It's so funny because I know I have the privileged position of having an empty nest. And that means that I have a quiet home normally with just me and my wife, and we do the things that we each like separately and together. And for me, that means a lot of coding, blogging, making videos, right? And you've all that has come to a stop. So I'm glad for this time, even as it draws to an end. Did you not have to ask it to follow the updated script? Oh, Grant, you are a person of film taste, also a little older than I thought. You're older than you look. Either that or you just have older sensibilities in film. So in terms of like committing, let's see. Let's make this stronger. Ask me to approve the commit message. Let's do this. The big emphasized. Always ask me to approve the commit message. Let's commit this. I made another change. Is it D? You know, I feel like changes to the process file really need an E. That's something else that I want to amend. Where do I have Arlo rules or commit messages? Okay. Working in small steps, right? The name of the game. People want AI to do huge leaps. And there is value, particularly for us poor Swift coders who have a crippled, who don't have app code, have a crippled root IDE Xcode that its knowledge of and support of automated refactoring is super slim. I find it valuable to be able to issue commands, prompts to say, do this refactoring or that refactoring and call it by name. And I feel like the genies have given us a leg up for the first time. But it still means working in small steps. Small, verified steps. Like, I'm not going to let go of small, verified steps. Let's say amend this. When we are changing anything in the .windsurf directory, it is an environment change. It's also a challenge that most of the LLMs are weighted toward older Swift code. Even now? They are advancing. Maybe keep a tight hold, keep a rein on the thing. Maybe I'm not feeling it so much because I am not able to use some of the more advanced things, the latest things at work yet. That's probably what's going on, in terms of like how I haven't been feeling that ignorance from LLMs. I feel like they've caught up, but they've probably caught up to something older. Update line 63. From non-code change to sure. Do it. Oh, really? Garbob. Swift 3? Holy crap. Who was it? Oh, the good, now Dr. Hang on. Graham Lee. He says that he made he has a dedicated Claude agent, probably running a custom script that checks, kind of like we have a few checks in place when we wrote when we were working on what was it? It wasn't the commit script. It was the run tests command to check for deprecated APIs. So I feel like that's the kind of thing that the automated guardrails we need to say, and to make it non-deterministic. Say you want to try to do this thing, and this is where I want to do Claude, because I understand the appeal of having a very focused agent that has its view of the world is very narrow, to say, I'm just going to check. I have one rule. I have one job on this ship. And then it won't lose its mind as much. Update. Yes. And while we're here, go back and do this. And hopefully, always ask me will improve things. I made another change. Commit it. Nice. So now it's picking up the E nicely. This is another thing, right? We want these tools to help us. We don't want to keep fighting them. So we have to help them help us. But it's a process, and it feels slow to go through this, but it will make it faster, just like investing in your own skills. So yes, automated guardrails are critical to moving toward LLM generated code beginning to be useful. I agree. I had high hope for Apple intelligence models, but I feel like Claude and others have any Swift they find dumped into the training system. Jeez. Grant is in a mood. Let's wrap up, folks. What? Let's say let's try to capture what we've done here. Problem with the process? Reset and change the process. Then try again. Your thoughts. This is retro time. It's time to wrap up. What did we do? What did we experience? This has been interesting. It's an old lesson, but break SwiftUI testing into 2 phases. It's not testing, it's TDD. Find view query view. Oh my gosh. Grant. Man, yeah. Let's see here. What else did we do? I wanted to put so I actually introduced breaks, right? As part of our process refinements, ask me to check is one. I think that's like a pattern that will come up a lot in a well-written process, is don't just stop running off and doing stuff. Ask me to check it. What else? This is put on the brakes. Apply the brakes. With ask me to check. Yeah, that's pretty good. Anything else before we wrap up? This has been a fascinating thing, and I do intend to be here next week, but final thoughts, going once, going twice. Observations of this stuff. All right. Sold to the man in the red Santa hat. Thanks for watching. I do intend to be here next week, but like I said, family is priority, and that's just the way it is for me. So we'll see. But that's my intention right now, is to have one more week this, and then have an extended break for the holidays, which for me is Christmas. And what else do I want to say? Oh yes, folks who are watching after the fact, hey, if you watch this on Twitch, follow me. And yeah, if you watch this on YouTube, give it a subscribe. I will update the schedule, Grant. Thank you. Give it a subscribe, give it a like, add some comments with your thoughts in YouTube. The great fun of doing live coding is the interaction, right? It's the chatter, and comments are, you know, what's the line in async? Well, that's async. It's not immediate, but it's still feedback, and it's still a conversation. And so I value that. So if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, disagreements, what about this, suggestions about tools, put them in the YouTube comments. I'd love to see them. All right. With that, I bid you farewell, and we will see you, fingers crossed, next week. Take care.